With a self-running presentation, it's always important that your content keeps the interest of your viewer, and one way to do that is to include some action on your slides, such as video. That's what we're going to add to a slide here in this movie, and we're going to continue working with our leaf and mortar presentation. You can see leaf and mortar 0202 if you're skipping to this movie, or if you didn't do your homework from the previous movie where we added a home button using actions that would allow people to go back to that branching slide to choose where they want to go next. We also added a contact button here that will take people to the end. And you'll notice I've also added one labeled next. This one is going to allow people to go directly to the next slide, which is the first slide in the next section, water and garden. It's not mandatory, but it does make it a little bit easier for navigation. So it's the same process as what we went through in the previous movie to create our home button, but you'll simply be navigating to the next slide as opposed to selecting a slide. Notice that if we expand water and garden and scroll down to slide 8, this is the last slide in this section. I've also copied and pasted all three of these buttons here. And then for hardscaping, if you expand that, down at the last slide in that section, slide 11, I've added the home and contact buttons. We don't need the next button because the next slide is the contact slide. So it's just a matter of copying and pasting the two that you need to that slide. But we're going to go back to slide 8 here, where we see the title Establishing Focal Points and a stagnant image of a waterfall. Here's where we could add some interest with video. We have a video of this waterfall. Why not switch out the picture for some actual video that can include audio as well, by the way. So let's start by clicking the image itself and hitting the delete key on your keyboard. What you should be left with here is a placeholder, which could include text or a number of other objects, including video. You can see there's a button down here to insert video. Video can come from different sources, online, or you may have your own video. And if you have the exercise files, I've provided one for you in the Chapter 2 folder. So this is the same as going up to the Insert tab on the ribbon, going way over here to the Media group, and clicking the Video drop-down. Notice there's online video, so if you wanted to include a YouTube video, for example, you could do that. Or if you're going to use the video I've provided, choose Video on my PC. Select that and navigate to the Chapter 2 folder. You'll see a waterfall movie.mov is the format, but there are a number of different formats that can be added to a PowerPoint presentation. Just hover over this drop down here for the video files and you'll see an extensive list. This is the one we want, waterfall.mov. Select it with a click and click Insert. It'll be inserted into this area where we see our placeholder. And of course, we can move this around. It's an object. We can size it if we wanted to. I'm going to move it up over here higher and to the left, and I'm going to go down to that bottom right-hand corner. When I see the double diagonal arrow, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And you can see it comes with some defaults, such as controls down below for playing, going back and fast forwarding, adjusting the volume, and you'll also see that there's a timer down below showing you how far into the video you are as it plays. Now, you'll also notice with the video selected, there are some Video Tools tabs. Format allows us to change the look of our video, like the frame, for example. You can do things like correcting color and brightness, etc. We're going to leave all of that alone and go to the Playback tab, because here's where we can control how this video is going to play in a self-running presentation. In other words, we don't want really our viewers controlling how this is played. We want it to play automatically. There is a play button up here on the ribbon with playback selected. Click there. You get a nice little preview. Click again. It's a pause button that switches back to a play button ready to be played when you're ready. So this is a little more interesting. It has some audio in the background as well. We have some other tools here if we wanted to trim any of it from the beginning or the ends. You can see it can fade in and out. I think all of that's fine, but let's go to the volume drop down for the background audio that we hear and move it to medium. So we do have some control over that. Notice it's going to start when it's clicked. We don't want that. Click that drop down and choose automatically. So it automatically starts playing when viewers arrive at this slide. We shouldn't have it playing full screen because there's text over here to be read alongside the video. We don't want to hide it when it's not playing. Instead, we might want it to simply loop until it's stopped. That might include moving on to the next slide, for example. So we'll choose loop until stopped. We're going to set timings for this so it automatically moves to the next slide, or when people come down here and click one of our options to go to the next slide, the contact slide, or back to the beginning. All right, so we have our video in there, and it's ready to be included in our presentation. All we need to do is save up our changes, clicking the Save button up here. We replaced a picture with some video that will play automatically when our viewers arrive at this slide, adding some extra interest to what they're seeing.